The second, but first, Northwest Missouri State versus Missouri Southern. Mike Cohency throwing the sure thing interception to Missouri Southern, but
ball
pops out right into the arms of Imoni Donadell, and that is a touchdown.
Oh, no. Look at this again. That's a pick, and now it's a touchdown.
Good focus.
Northwest Missouri State, about 15 years ago, won a couple national championships at the D2 level. This is, though, just pure luck. That's a killer. I know what you're going to say, Chris. Defenders aren't that bright.
Well, defensive backs, they don't have no hands. That's why he caught that thing up.
Hands,
the other things he was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Next up, we head to Kansas. Wichita High School East. Dalen Jones makes a one-handed catch while diving backwards. That's a touchdown.
Now, that's all he had. He had to catch it that way. And watch out the ball. He doesn't catch it with his hand. He catches it with part of his forearm. And great catch there. That's the scariest feeling as a receiver when you're falling back one way and you don't know if you're going to hit your head or get hit by another defender.
It's a hell of a play by probably a 16-year-old right there. Bless you, Jenna Wolf. Someone get Jenna Wolf some allergen or something.
No, I'm good now. Kentucky high school football. Got that out of the way. Lake High's Dre Joens breaking 5 tackles, drags another defender on his way to the end zone. This guy's a beast.
He scores?
This guy's
a wow. I didn't see a touchdown coming here, see? What? You're nonplussed again. There's a kid, man.
Right.
He's not no kids. This is high school, man.
That's kids.
This is disgusting.
What?
You need to have some fundamentals.
Oh, Jesus.
Look at this poor guy getting dragged
the defender? You're just going to kill the defender?
Yeah, tackling. That ain't that difficult.
Maybe that guy's the next Mike Allstott, man.
All right, back to the NFL.
If all those other little pale kids make it to the NFL, he'll be all stopped.
Okay.
Cowboys off to a blazing 3-0
start. Only thing dark was the yard markers on the field.
With perhaps their biggest test coming Sunday night when they face the Saints, a Saints team that looked strong in last week's win over the Seahawks, which, by the way, was in Seattle. New Orleans putting the league on alert that they're not taking a step back without Drew Brees. Teddy Bridgewater looked good. And Jerry Jones, the first to tell you he's not taking the Saints lightly.
Boy, they have so much team-wise that to compete with, as they illustrated against Seattle, out in Seattle of all places. Listen, from top to bottom down there, Mickey Lomas and, of course, Sean, and they're built for action and built to play and built to win football games. And they're thinking way ahead. They look around corners, to use some cliches here. But that Teddy Bridgewater, everybody knows that he's a talented football player, and he's very capable of, with people like Sean Payton tutoring him, he's very capable of being all you want at quarterback. And so, no, I don't see anything but a real. We're going to have to really have a lot going for us to get out of there with a win.
All right, so what challenges, Nick, do the Saints offense present without Drew Brees in there?
Well, it's both sides of the ball, not just Saints offense. Obviously, without Drew Brees, the Saints offense is not the same. But you still have Alvin Kamara. It's still going to be a hell of a test for that great Cowboys linebacking core. You still have what I would consider your first true road game of the year. Dallas playing against Washington with that beaten down fan base. I would watch that game. That was about 40% Cowboy fans. That will not be the case in New Orleans. Superdome going to be fired up. But I'm more concerned for Dallas on the other side. Drew Brees doesn't play D-line. No matter who plays quarterback for the Saints, this defense is going to be the toughest test Dallas has faced by an enormous margin. When you play the Giants, Washington, and Miami, one of the reasons Dak has looked so great is because he's been so clean, he's had so much time, and he's been able to go through his progressions. The Saints will be the toughest pass rush this Cowboys team has faced by a wide margin. The Giants got no pass rush, the Dolphins don't have much of anything, and Washington doesn't have pass rush right now. So how will Dallas offset legitimate crowd noise for Dak to operate their offense, a legitimate pass rush for the first time? Because, as Jerry alluded to, the Saints are going to find a way to manufacture some offense. Now, I don't think they're going to have a defensive and a special team score this week the way they did against Seattle, but that was on the road in Seattle as opposed to at home at the Superdome. So this is the Cowboys' toughest game of the year by an enormous margin, even though Drew Brees is not playing for the Saints this week.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge is someone like New Orleans, Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis, which Jerry mentioned. He mentions a lot of good things. they've won a lot of games together, especially the last couple years. In the NFL recent history, it's only a couple years, but we talk about Cleveland. What are they trying to learn? They're trying to learn how to win. This Saints team, what, 13 wins last year?
And 11 the year before.
11 the year before that. That's 24 during the regular season and postseason success. They know how to win, so they know they're not going to panic, even though they're used to having Drew Brees. But you got to make, if you're Dallas, you got to make New Orleans play without Michael Thomas dominating and without Alvin Kamara dominating, because without them, where are they going to get the productivity from? You mentioned you're not going to get the bounces. You're not going to be able to do the things that you were able to do against the Seahawks. You can't depend on that. But for Dallas to be able to win this, you know Teddy Bridgewater is challenged as far as his overall arm strength. All right, you have to force him to be able to throw the ball deep down the field and throw it to other people. I think this is a good matchup for Dallas, especially offensively, too, because not only are they going to face a better rush, they're going to face tighter pass coverage. Yep. The Saints blitz an awful lot. They do play a lot of combination and man-to-man coverage. So I think this is going to be a good football game. Teddy Bridgewater, you can't allow him to be a game manager, and that's what happened in last week's game, his first start there with the Saints.
And Nick, we've talked the last couple weeks about how beneficial it's been to the Cowboys to be able to sort of rest Zeke and ease him back into it. Are we going to see full, unleashed, full package 100%. Of Zeke Elliott?
Listen, the Saints defense has not been great this year except for rushing the passer, where they've been a top 10 team. You have been ramping Zeke up for this, not just the final 13 games of the season, but this stretch right here.
Yep.
New Orleans and Green Bay, back-to-back weeks. Two teams that if the Cowboys continue on this trajectory, we could be talking about home field advantage tiebreakers with. You could be. There's a lot of big things at stake for the Cowboys next 2 weeks, so you give your best player the football as much as possible. And on the other side, you mentioned Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy didn't throw one pass longer than 15 yards in the air last week. And so they were not going to let him make any mistakes, and it was going to be constricted.
So that was by design.
It was by design, and Dallas knows that. This field is going to be shortened enormously when the Saints have the football. They're going to dare Teddy Bridgewater try to beat him over the top. Michael Thomas is a great receiver, but one of the reasons we talk about you and him similarly is not just the hands and the school,
right?
But it's not as much fear of someone going on a 9 route down.
He's
the
field. Ultimate possession receiver.
Exactly right. And so that does fit Teddy's skill set, but that also means you are going to be able to have you're not going to have a safety over the top at all times for Dallas. So there's a lot of, to me, there's a really interesting matchup because it is the first Saints-Cowboys game in recent memory where you feel like, oh, the Cowboys got the benefit of the better quarterback. How can the Saints offset that when in years past that wasn't the case? Now, I will say this. Cowboys went to New Orleans last year, I think it was on a Thursday night, and shocked New Orleans in a defensive game. It was 13-10. That game when Dallas looked like their season was teetering.
Drew was looking for a little revenge factor, I'm sure.
Absolutely, and he's going to miss the game. So even without Brees, I think this could be a great game. I'm really interested to see how Dallas does against the Saints pass rush. If they can handle that, there's no reason they shouldn't win the game.
Yeah, it should be a very good game. I'm interested to see Dak continue to take that next step, because what we do with quarterbacks, if we're not on the bandwagon, we either try to dilute their stats. Oh, it was the opposition. You know something? It was Miami's fault. Oh, it was Washington. This will be a good challenge for him, and I expect them to continue the things they've been doing. Attack down the field. Dak is not a manager of a game, not like what they have in New Orleans with Teddy Bridgewater now. Watch for them to be on the attack, and watch how many throws he does make. Over 15 yards compared to Teddy Bridgewater.
Dallas with a chance to go 4-0 to start the season. All right, take a break. Coming up, is Thursday night a must-win already for the Philadelphia Eagles? Next on First Things First.